So, hello, I'm Tracy Lord.
Hi, I'm Katie McLaughlin. Thank you guys for watching our Google Slides workshop. We don't have anyone here yet, but people may be popping in, or you can check out our video after. The first thing that we wanted to talk to you guys about that we like to do in our Google Slides is using transitions. And they just allow you to have parts of the slideshow pop up before other parts. And I don't know, Tracy, if you wanted to explain some of the ways that you can do that.
Yes, so you can have transitions for, I use it for poetry. If we're just reading one line at a time, you can actually type in a whole paragraph, and then when you insert your motion, which is the transitions, if you check off the box that says by paragraph, it'll just do one line at a time. This is similar to how we would do sentence strips in the classroom, putting them in a pocket chart. Or I use it as part of our morning meeting each day, like counting days in school. You'll see our slide that we have here. But basically allowing for that thinking time between us asking a question and then revealing the answer to them.
Absolutely. So one example of in my class how I can use the transitions would be like when we're going over the solve and share problem. If we want to talk it through and not just kind of throw the answer up right away, sometimes I'll use it then. So for example, this question was asking about coins. So we put 5 coins up, and then we decided that the first thing that we needed to do was to put them in order from least to greatest. So that gave us the opportunity to kind of talk about what the coin values are and what that order would look like before them actually seeing it. And then we were able to, I just put up a new picture. So I transitioned the old one out. I had it disappear, and I had the new one come in with them in the correct order. And then we were able to go ahead and write down what the value of each coin was. So we could, again, talk about it, and then I could click the next button to see it pop up. And then we talked about how we would want to count on. So we talked about how the 50-cent or the $50 coin was the biggest, and the one with the least value would be the penny. And that if we started with the 50 cents and we add up from there, we would go to 75 cents, 85 cents, 90 cents, and then 91 cents to be our total. And I think, Tracy, you did have another example of how you use it as well.
Yes, so I'll tell you when to click the arrows. I'm used to seeing this. So this is part of our morning meeting, and we've been counting the number of days in school. So in the classroom, of course, I'm fully virtual, but in the classroom, we would actually put popsicle sticks in a little pocket chart, and I just wanted a way to be able to do this virtually, which I think I will continue even going into next year. I just really like having it on the screen. So what we do each day, if you want to click the arrow, we start by counting 100, and then 110, 120, 130, 140. Then we go to ones, 141, 142, 143, 144. So once we get to this point, then I call on one of our kids and say, how do we write 144? And they will tell me a 1, a 4, and a 4. So then I will reveal the numbers at the top. And then we go ahead and look at the 100 chart. So we've been working on trying to find numbers that are 10 more, 10 less, 1 more, and 1 less. So then I will show the circle around the number 44 on our 100 chart. And then there's a little helper, if you click the next arrow, where it just shows up to kind of help them see that 10 more, 10 less, and 1 more, 1 less. So they know that as we go down, it's 10 more. So then again, I'll either call on the same friend or on a new friend to try and fill in the numbers at the bottom. And as they say it, I'll reveal to show that they were correct in their answer. And this is all done in Google Slides through transitions. So when you go into insert at the top, you'll go to insert and animation.
So yeah, so if, like, for example, I'll just give it a picture that we could use or something. So if we wanted to have this smiley face maybe appear at a certain point or something, we're going to go up to insert, or actually you can just kind of click your picture that you have there and choose animate on this top there. And so you can choose a bunch of different things. So for example, you can have it just appear when you click. You could have it, you know, fly in from a side. You could have it zoom in, zoom out, however you want to do it. And you can even choose when you want it to. So if you want it to just come in right after you click, or maybe you have another animation before it, like I was doing with the coins, where you had one coin come in first, and you could set it up so that without even clicking, it would automatically go to the next one. If when you did the next coin that you wanted, you'd choose after previous instead. Or maybe you have a bunch of things that you want to appear on the screen at the same time, and then you would choose with previous.
If you want to try inserting a text box and just a few lines of text so they can see, like this is how I do for my poetry. Like I said, instead of doing the pocket chart and sentence strips that I usually do in the classroom, I've been typing all of our poems in. So just add another line, you know, whatever. So now if you add animation to that, that text box, and then click on the box that says by paragraph. So now if you play at the bottom, we'll see her smiley face appear on click. And then the next click is going to show just the first line we wrote. And then the next click will show the next line. So I can actually type the whole poem in. And as long as you click by paragraph, each line is going to appear separately, just one click at a time. So it's good for when the kids are reading the poem. What we do is I introduce the poem one day, and then another day during the week, pairs of kids will read the poem together. So I'll project it on the screen and then just do one line at a time, and they're reading and following along, just like we'd do in the classroom, like with a pocket chart and a pointer.
Absolutely. I like that too, because it kind of focuses their eyes so they're not looking at the whole poem all at once. Yep. And I think that what you said about maybe keeping this when you go back to the classroom, I was thinking that same thing, just because it's so nice to save the room on your wall, and you know, it's just easier here this way. So
yeah, and then just, you know, all the hands aren't in it. You don't have to worry about pieces getting lost. You don't have to worry about switching, you know, the numbers each day. Or I'd have kids that would touch the numbers and they'd be falling out, and you know, as you walk by it, you bump into the pocket chart or something. That way this can be projected right on bright links and they can see the whole thing.
Absolutely. Another thing that we had been talking about is we can use audio within a slide. So you can actually insert an audio file directly into the slide, and it creates just a little play button where you can actually just hear the audio right within the slide itself. So it allows students of all different reading levels to kind of access the information, because even if they're unable to read the text, if there's that play button, it gives them that extra, you know, audio volume option. It also allows students of all writing abilities to contribute on a group slide, because they can use it themselves if they wanted to actually add in audio. And the way that I use it in my class is with spelling, because in that case, I want them to practice on their whiteboard. So I don't want to have the word come up, but rather they can listen and then try it on their own. So there is no direct way currently. I keep waiting for them to come up.
I know, to add it to slides.
I don't know why they haven't, but there's no direct way within slides to actually add the audio right there. But there are a number of sites that you can use to go and record yourself and then just add it into the slide. So one that I use is kind of put right in here. It's called Online Voice Recorder, pretty simple. When you click on it, it just looks like this. And you're just going to click the microphone and record yourself, and then you'll just save it and it goes right into your downloads. And that way, when you come back to your slide, you can just choose insert and click on audio, and all of your audio content will pop up for you to choose from. So for example, this is how I use it with our trick words. So this is on my website, and the kids can go either, you know, during the day if we have some time, or if they're at home and they want to practice before a spelling quiz. all they need is, a piece of paper or a whiteboard, and they can click and hear the actual word.
Whose.
And then when they're ready, once they've tried it, they can click to see the word appear, again, using those transitions. So it's a nice way for them to kind of be more independent with their practice in that sense.
Yeah, it's great because it's like a self-correct. So they're not wondering or waiting, like you said, for practice. Oh, did I spell this right? Or have to look it up anywhere else. It's all in one place. And this has the transitions too.
Absolutely. So yeah, so they would go the next one.
Son.
I
have one daughter and one son. Son.
So then they would click. I did end up using numbers only because when I was using it as a whole class to practice, I'd forget which order I went in. So just a tip, if you're going to be using it whole class and you want to know, which one am I supposed to click on first, second, because of the way that you do your transitions. Mm-hmm. If you want the word to appear after that, it's easier if you do have them labeled with 1, 2, 3, and 4, yes, or like in an order that you would naturally click on it. And if you wanted to see, I can go ahead and show you just real quick to add it to the presentation. You're just going to do insert and you'll go to audio. And when you do, it automatically will bring up your drive with all of the audio files that you have in there. So I have a bunch of words. So for example, if I wanted to use the word Saturday, I'm going to choose select, and it just makes it a little audio button like that. You can make the button as big or as small as you want. And then when you go to click on it, when you're in play mode, you can click it.
Saturday.
Okay. All right. Oops, I have to click through 1 second. All right.
So the next thing is just inserting a timer. There's lots of different ways to use this. You could have it if it's break time, like say snack time, or giving kids 5-minute break to go use the bathroom or something. It's a nice way to have them plan their time during centers, just having a visual timer there to see how much left they have to do for a certain task or a certain amount of work. And it helps them, like I said, having that visual timer, those kiddos that just need that visual and they're not anxious about how much time do I have left, and looking around at other kiddos, they can see it and be prepared for what's next. So the way to insert a timer, there are a ton of different timers on YouTube, any amount of minutes, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. If you just type in 5-minute timer, 10-minute timer, there's different ones to music. I like using timers too that go along with whatever theme we're kind of doing. So like we're learning about insects, I actually had a bug timer where there were different bugs like crawling on the screen. So they kind of get excited to see what timer we're going to do, or if it's a dance one, they just get up on their own and start dancing. So you would go to insert and then video. And this is where you can search on YouTube for any amount of timer that you need.
And you can have tons of choices there. I know in one of our more recent trainings, we talked about a time timer being helpful. And you can also search for different times of timers. So like you can have the ones that we had been talking about where it's more of a visual. So
if you
that when you click it,
teacher timer too, there's some with like the drops where it looks like, almost like a sand timer or something.
Yeah. So, and like she said, there's some that have like relaxing music. So sometimes if your class is loud, having something like that in the background can be helpful. Right. But one of the ways that I know that I use it is, again, like she had mentioned, in my centers. So on my center board that has, where everyone's going, it's nice to just have that right there and be able to click it. And then I just use one for one rotation. And then when we stop in between rotations, I'll reset the timer. And that way they can kind of see the whole time how long they have and kind of budget what they need to get done in that amount of time. And I think Tracy had another example here.
Yep. So we've been doing just some different scavenger hunts to get them up and moving, learning virtually. Like we have been learning about 3D shapes. So we had a 3D shape scavenger hunt for that one. I just gave them 30 seconds. It was actually plenty of time. I had let the families know ahead of time, like, have some things nearby so that they'd know, but I gave them 30 seconds, go find something that's a sphere, and then they'd come back. This one is for another different scavenger hunt we're doing. This is just one of the slides. It says find 5 things. So they have 3 minutes to go find 5 things you can write with. We have 5 things made of wood, 5 things made of plastic. So that one, might be a little bit harder, and I didn't give the families the heads up because I want them to try and really find them on their own. So same thing, just right in this slide, you'd click the timer, and this one plays mute. And they can see the numbers counting down. I hear the music, and usually most of the timers have some type of like alarm or a beep, like. So this one, the music just stops, but some of them go like beep, 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 or, something that the kids can hear. And they know as soon as it gets to that 10, they're like 10, 9, 8.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so which is good. I mean, I guess it means they're watching it.
Right. Yep. It's the time.
Stuck on the time. All right, there we go. All right, so we were also talking about linking directly to other slides within the same presentation, which can be helpful for different games. We talked about using it with flashcards or with going to different websites or leaving substitute plans. One of the games that I've played with it is linked here, Jeopardy. So the way that it works is when you get to a question, you have your Jeopardy board, and when you are in presentation mode, oh, I'm not showing you.
It didn't open up yet. I was going to say.
Sorry. So when you're in and you click on one, it's set up so that whatever you're clicking on, it's going to take you to the slide in the presentation that has that question on it. And then you can click to kind of see the answer. And then there's this down here that will take you back to your original Jeopardy board. And then again, so say I picked biography for 300, it takes me to the biography 300 question. So it's just a way to take you from one slide to a different slide within the presentation.
If you click on the sight word game, I think that opened up the, so this was my polar bear game. I sent this out in one of our tech tips, linking to other slides. So this is a little poem that we do. Polar bears, swimming and gliding. Where do you think they could be hiding? So each of the polar bears at the bottom were linked to their own slides. So one of the polar bears, it was looking for teen numbers. Another one was sight words. Another one might have been letters or letter sounds. So either using this with small groups, you could differentiate what game you're going to play with which group, depending on the skills that they're working on. You could even do it as an RTI if you're working with one particular student and they are working on a certain sound or certain sight words. You could have a slide just for that particular student. So if you click on one of the bears at the bottom, so this is a sight word one, and so they have to say a sight word and they're looking for the hidden polar bear. So if I said me, Katie will click on me and, oh, figures. That's totally random, but that happened to be where the polar bear was hiding. So in my slides, in that game, one of my slides has this polar bear on it, as you can see. So Kate, if you want to go to slide 2, the way that you do this is on that me slide, you would highlight the word me, and then you can right click and you can see that it's linked to slide 6. Sorry about that. I knew that was going to happen. So it's already linked, so I think it won't show up. Maybe that's why.
So we could do
go
it
to our little sample slide we've been adding stuff to. So she's going to insert a blank slide, just put whatever on it.
Okay. Let's see, I'll do a timer.
There you go.
Insert video, and I'll choose this timer.
So then in slide 1, we could type the word timer. This is kind of how, like, you'll see in another slide with my sub-plans. So here's the word timer. And if she right clicks on that, you go to link. And you can link it to, you could actually link that to a website, any other thing, any other Google Doc, or you can link it to an actual slide in this presentation, which in this case would be slide 2. Or you could just do the next slide. And then that's all set. So now when she's in present mode and she clicks on timer, it'll automatically bring her to the slide with the timer.
And then you have another slide here with some sub-plans. Do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, if you go, I think we put the actual slide in. There you go. So in kindergarten, when one of the teachers are out virtually, the ESP took over the class. So she had access to pretty much all of the slides that I created, but I just found it easier for her when I was going to be out to have everything in one place. So each of the things that you see in blue are hyperlinked to either other slides that are in my kind of virtual subfolder or to other Google documents that I already had. So for instance, at the top, it says morning meeting. That's how she'd start the day. So if Katie clicks on morning meeting,
I actually don't have access.
Oh, she doesn't have access. So it would open. Sorry about that.
It would open.
It would open for my ESP to our morning meeting slides. Same things for links to different songs we do. The Savas Realize that's in there is just linking to our math website. Anything that she would be using throughout the day, and I edited this on different days that I'd be out. So this is just an easy way to, even for yourself, like have.
I was just gonna say, I
Right?
can show you with mine because I do this just for my own self, for my plans.
Yeah.
Just to have one place to kind of click through. So same thing, like if I want to have, I actually use Google Slides for the morning message. So if I click on that, it'll pop up with the slide. And that way I'm able to go right there from the same document. But if you wanted to go reverse and use a specific slideshow that you have and kind of use it in a document, you're just going to go to the share button. And you can change it if you want or leave it. So usually for us, it'll come up as only Middleborough Public Schools, but you can change it to only specific people or just anyone with the link. And you're going to choose copy link. So I didn't, of course. So you're going to choose copy link. And then you'll just go back into either the other slideshow or the document that you want. And you're going to type what you're going to call it. You'll highlight it just like we did before. Choose the insert link button, which just kind of looks like a paper clip, and you'll paste the link that you just copied. And that way you've created kind of a button for yourself or for a substitute to click that will get them to that other activity. So if we had access to all of Stacy's information, when we clicked on these, just like our substitute, we would be brought to whichever it is that she had it set to go to.
And then one of the last things we were doing is just changing your background in Google Slides to just make them pretty. You can just do a solid color just to add some fun. But you can also find a ton of different virtual backgrounds for the look of a classroom, a room. Again, working with different themes that you're doing, like say you're learning about rainforests. You could insert an image of a rainforest background. You can actually use pictures that you've taken. So if it's places you've been, if you want a background image of your classroom or the school, we're going to show you how to add different backgrounds, how you can search through pictures either online or ones that you have saved in your computer. And it just makes your slides more fun and interactive.
Absolutely. So one of the ways that you've used it is by adding like a virtual classroom background.
Yep. So this is actually pieced together. So for this one, I made the whole background like that greenish color. But then for the floor, I went into insert image, and you can just through Google, like go to insert image from the web and type in wood floor. You could do carpet. There's all different websites that you can find just for those images.
If we just insert image and
Yeah.
just click search the web right there, and
Yeah.
you typed in wood floor.
Like wood flooring background, or
another hint that helps when you're making a background is usually you want to add PNG just so the picture itself doesn't have a background.
So there's some that are already set up like with rooms, and like say that green one right there, you don't have to keep that window. Like you could just insert, like say you wanted a whiteboard or a chalkboard or something like that over it, you would just add in another image and place it right over that little window. And then you could add things like furniture and bookshelves. So like for my virtual library room, I added different bookshelves, and then the books themselves are actually just images of the books from online. But with each one, I added a link to the website that's going to play the book virtually. So they're watching the video. So I have a bunch of different book rooms like this for different themes that we're doing. Right now, I'm working on Eric Carle. So there's my little Bitmoji, which we'll talk about later. And I'm in there, and there's a picture of Eric Carle sitting in a chair. And then there's all different books that he wrote. And again, each of the books are hyperlinked to a video. So today.
So if I were to click on like Horton Hears a Who, it automatically takes me directly
Horton
to
Hears a Who
video,
by Dr. Seuss.
which is nice for the kids to be able, and it gives them some choice while still limiting them to, you know, the topic that you're talking about.
And you can add this like right onto Seesaw, you know, choose one story and draw me a picture, or write me 2 sentences about the story you read. And like you said, it gives them some options, some choice. And for me too, like if I'm going to do, you know, a read aloud, say we're doing like our reader's notebook, and I know that 2 of the books that I'm picking are in here, or even giving the kids, all right, which book should we read for our story for today? So you can either use it as like an independent activity or something you do with the whole class.
Absolutely. And then some fun. One of the things that we had just talked about would be Bitmoji.
Yeah.
I know it's just a fun, cute way to kind of make your work more exciting for the kids.
Personalized. So these are just extensions from the Google Chrome store. So Bitmoji is one of them. So you have to create your own Bitmoji first. So I had the app, the Bitmoji app. I had already created my Bitmoji. And then when you download the extension, because it's linked through Google, all of like my Bitmoji with my clothing and all that is already selected. And then you can search a number of things. Like if you want words, you could just put in happy, sad. You can put in things like sitting, running, ice cream, popcorn. I mean, there's just a number of things, whatever you're working on. Like I said, again, to kind of go with your theme or topic, whatever they're learning, to add a Bitmoji to go with that.
I thought it was going to show you the whole thing, but it won't. But if you do have the Bitmoji extension, you see it up at the top, and then you'll have a drop-down menu. So if I were going to type in, I don't know, like end of the year or something, maybe I'm going to choose that and just go ahead and paste right within the slide the Bitmoji.
Yep.
And you can change like the size or where it is. You could use the transitions that we've talked about to kind of move it around the screen. So just something kind of a fun thing. And then the other one that we were looking at is Giphy as well, which is another Google extension. And you can look, and it just makes it like a moving picture, a meme, and you can look for different ones that you like and insert them in as well.
Yep. So I used this for one of our poems was about going to space. Like we did a whole space unit, and there was a rocket Giphy image at the end where the rocket was blasting off. So they thought that was really neat. Of course, it just keeps repeating, but you just see like all the fire and smoke, and then the rocket blasting off. So we added that at the end of the poem.
They do definitely like them. And if you think it might be like a distraction for like maybe during the whole poem, you could use that transition and have it come in at the end as almost like a celebration of like, oh, we just finished this poem.
Right.
Have it pop up.
And then like you said, if you like say you wanted it just for a short while, and then you could also add a transition for it to disappear on click too. So that could be something you can add multiple transitions for the same object or text or anything to have some appear and then some disappear.
Definitely. So even with what we're talking about with using it as like a sentence strip in a poem, if you really wanted them to zero in on that line, you could even have a line appear and then disappear before the next one appears, and then that one will disappear before the next one. So you can set one item to do different transitions throughout the entire slide.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention too, like say you're going to be doing, like say you want to add all of your poems digitally and have the motion and everything. What I've been doing, instead of recreating the whole thing each time, I know that I'm going to have motions and transitions or whatever. What I've been doing is going into that document, right click on the slide and copy it, and then paste it into a new slide document, and then just change my text. So all of the motions are still in there, and I'm just changing the text. It's a super time saver. And then of course I just change, whatever images I might have added, but I'm not starting from scratch each time. I'm using those same text boxes that already have the transitions and just editing the text. So just a little tip.
Definitely a time saver. And that is all that we have, but thank you so much for joining us. There has been a slight change of date. So if you'd like to pop in and ask any questions, we will be here for a follow-up next Tuesday, May 25th from 3:30 to 4:30. So if you were unable to join live and you were able to catch our recording and had any questions that you wanted to ask, please come on in.
And we will walk you through any questions that you have. I know sometimes it's difficult to see and follow along, but we'll be right there with you if you want to try things on your own, and we'll walk you through it. So thank you for watching us.
Thank you very much.
Boop.